Six Flags is the largest regional theme park chain in the world, and they currently have 15 parks in their portfolio. These theme parks are most well known for their roller coasters and large thrill rides, but the parks do have some pockets of theming, usually to DC characters or Looney Tunes. So in this video, I will rank all 15 parks in the chain. Before starting the list, I want to note two exclusions. First, this list will only include the chain's current parks. Over the years, the chain has owned or operated an additional 16 theme parks. This includes several parks in the United States and 8 over in Europe. Second, this list will only cover the amusement parks. I will not be ranking the chain's water parks, nor will I factor the attached ones into the park rankings. While I've visited all the theme parks, I have not visited all their standalone water parks. Starting off the list at number 15 is Frontier City in Oklahoma City. This is the smallest park in the list. Now, to the park's credit, it is one of the best themed parks in the chain. The park maintains this Western aesthetic throughout, from the ride names to the buildings. However, there are two main issues with this park: the ride lineup and ride availability. This park only has 5 roller coasters, and the 3 largest ones are all hand-me-downs. Diamondback is a rare Arrow shuttle loop. It has some wild airtime, but this ride is extremely unreliable, and it's a crapshoot if it will even be running. Silver Bullet is a compact but forceful Schwarzkopf looper. Then Wildcat is the park's most popular ride, but this wood coaster has been neutered over the past few decades. This park looks to have 2 excellent water rides, but both the Mystery River Log Flume and Renegade Rapids have been closed in my visits. This park has a respectable flat ride lineup, but a handful have been closed in all my visits, most notably the Gunslinger Power Surge. Last but not least, this park does have a shooting dark ride and quick draw, but most targets were broken. This park has a lot of potential, but the upkeep and closures make it a frustrating one to visit. Number 14, Great Escape in Queensbury, New York. This is another small park, as this one caters more to families, but it has some charm. The front area has maintained some of the displays and walkthroughs from the Storytown USA days. Then the park has a good headlining coaster in Comet. This is a long and smooth wood coaster with some solid airtime. The rest of the coaster lineup is on the weaker side, but it is being bolstered by another wood coaster in 2024 with Bobcat. This park has invested heavily in their flat ride lineup over the past decade, and it really shows. Both the Sasquatch Drop Tower and the Adirondack Outlaw Booster are extremely thrilling, while offering stunning views of the nearby mountains. Then there are plenty of spinning rides, most notably the Blizzard Indoor Scrambler. This is one of the fastest rides of its kind, and the atmosphere only accentuates the speed. And this park also has some water rides, including an enjoyable River Rapids ride. Another perk with this park relative to the others on this list is that it tends to have lighter crowds and shorter waits. Number 13, Six Flags Daran Lake in upstate New York. This is a park that Six Flags previously sold off, but they recently reacquired it. This park has a ton of promise. It is a full-fledged resort with plenty of land and a nice ride lineup. Some areas just need freshening up, and they really need to improve their operations. Almost every coaster here has just one train, which makes lines move at a snail's pace. That even includes their headlining coaster and Ride of Steel. This is the original Intamin Hypercoaster. It uniquely passes over a lake, and it has some strong ejector airtime moments. Then with the recent track work, Predator is running smoothly, and it has several spots where it offers airtime and laterals simultaneously. While the coaster lineup is not as deep as others on the list, the supporting coasters are solid overall. Tantrum, Viper, Boomerang, and Moto Coaster are all enjoyable rides. Then this park has plenty of flats as well. There are some old and unique spinning rides, and in recent years, they have gotten some taller flats like Skyscreamer that take full advantage of the park's location. This park does not have any dark rides though, and their 2 best water rides recently closed. But there are 2 unique things that should not be missed. Moose on the Loose is a comedic delight. Then Fascination is an addictive and reasonably priced midway game blending skee-ball and bingo into one. Number 12, La Ronde in Montreal, Canada. This park has so much potential. It has a beautiful setting on an island overlooking the city. The tallest rides as a result offer stunning views, but the park has closed several rides in recent years. Some have been outright removed, leaving empty spaces in the park, while others are still standing and rotting. Some TLC would really help this park out. Then the operations are maddening. It has taken me 2 hours to enter this park before. Dispatches across the board are slow. Expect some ride closures, and many coasters will operate with just one train, even if the park is slammed. But the ride lineup has some great rides. Goliath is one of the better B&M hypers. This ride is a floater airtime machine. Vampire is a Batman the Ride clone from B&M, but this one is even more forceful than the others. The other coasters are okay at best though. However, I do like the flat rides here. There are some unique ones, both old and new. Orbite is an SNS drop tower with some shocking ejector airtime at the top. Titan is a Zamperla giant frisbee with some sweet airtime in the max swings. This park does not have any dark rides, and the only water ride remaining is a Shoot the Chutes, but if you visit on select days, you can experience arguably the world's best fireworks display. This is over a half hour in length, and basically maintains the grand finale of any other fireworks show for the duration. Just beware the traffic leaving on days this is offered. Due to the park's location and subsequent road closures, it can take over 2 hours to exit. Consider taking the metro. Number 11. Six Flags St. Louis in Missouri. This is one of the greener parks in the chain, and I like this park's presentation. The coaster lineup is deep, but it is missing a true standout coaster. This is the main thing holding this park back. The best coaster here is Mr. Freeze, which is an intense Premier Rides launch coaster going both forwards and backwards. Then this park is a Batman the Ride clone, and most notably, 3 different wood coasters. The Boss is a massive woody going into the woods. This ride has some big drops, nice pops of airtime, and sharp laterals, but it can be shaky. Both Screamin' Eagle and American Thunder are smoother and offer more airtime-centric layouts. The non-coasters here are well-rounded too. I like how the park's tallest flats are atop the hill, so they offer great views. Some of the older flats like the Superman Drop Tower and Excalibur Evolution have been removed, but the park at least added the Catwoman Whip booster to compensate. Then there's also a giant Ferris wheel smack dab in the center of the park that offers great views of the rides. This park also has a Justice League Shooting Dark ride that's well executed, and some water rides, most notably the Soaking Thunder River. Number 10. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in the Bay Area. This park really should be higher, but it probably has the worst operations in the chain. Several coasters have painstakingly slow dispatches. This is further compounded by many coasters running just one train, and ride closures are quite common. The other aspects of this park are pretty good. The park started off as a zoo. The back half of the park as a result is lushly landscaped, and it features a series of animal exhibits and shows. It sort of feels like a SeaWorld park back there. The front half is a former parking lot, so the park has crammed a ton of coasters in there. Joker is an underrated RMC with some punchy drops and spectacular inversions. I absolutely love this stall. Medusa is a great looping coaster from B&M. This floorless coaster is a large, smooth, and forceful ride. Then there are 2 nice launch coasters in Superman, which is a Premier Ride Skyrocket 2, and that rides some wild airtime. The other is Flash Vertical Velocity, which is a strange intimate impulse coaster with freaky hang time. And Batman the Ride is a chaotic SNS free spin offering a few flips. The flat ride lineup here is weaker than most parks in the chain, but a few are lightly themed to animals. Then there's a nice River Rapids ride towards the back of the park. Number 9. Six Flags America in Maryland. This park gets way too much hate. Maybe it's because the park is so close to regional giants like Hershey Park and Busch Gardens, but this park is enjoyable. For one, crowds are usually light, so you can ride a lot. 2, the ride lineup is strong. Superman Ride of Steel is a forceful, intimate hyper with some powerful airtime. Wild One is a classic wood coaster that offers some surprising airtime and great laterals. Batwing is a unique Vekoma flying coaster with some intense positive Gs. Joker's Jinx is a disorienting Premier Rides launch coaster with a convoluted layout. Then both Firebird and Roar can offer enjoyable experiences in certain seats. This park has a handful of fun flats, most notably Voodoo Drop. This is a smaller drop tower, but you drop like a rock. And there's also the Harley Quinn Giant Frisbee with a long cycle and plenty of airtime. There are no dark rides here, but there are some water rides, including the unique Penguin's Blizzard River Spinning Raft ride, and also a secluded River Rapids ride. The back area of this park is admittedly an absolute mess from an aesthetic perspective, as it looks like someone played Roller Coaster Tycoon and simply plopped down a bunch of clones with random pathways linking them up. But the front half of the park looks nice, particularly over by the western area. Number 8. Six Flags New England and Massachusetts. This park is dominated by its top two. Superman the Ride is an intimate hypercoaster with one of the best layouts of all time. It starts off as an out-and-back coaster with sustained ejector airtime, before transitioning into a spaghetti bowl twister. Then Wicked Cyclone is an RMC hybrid blending quick bursts of airtime and hang time. There is a significant drop-off after this though, as most remaining coasters are compact clones, but the other coasters are decent, not great. While this park doesn't have any pure dark rides, there are some enclosed flat rides like Cyborg Hyperdrive and the Houdini Madhouse. And the outdoor flat rides are good too, as it's dominated by a big three. Scream is a fun SNS drop tower running a combo program. Harley Quinn is another frisbee with a long and satisfying program. Then the New England Sky Screamer is one of the tallest swing rides in the world. It allows you to appreciate this park's nice location, as it borders the Connecticut River. This park also has a bit of a charm to it, which makes sense because it is the oldest park in the chain. Number 7. Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington. This is the original Six Flags park. The name was derived from different countries that once claimed Texas as their own, so there are these small lands with a cohesive aesthetic. Then the ride lineup is very well rounded. There are 4 coasters that are particularly memorable. New Texas Giant was the prototype RMC hybrid coaster, and it offers strong ejector airtime. You also get some wild airtime on Shockwave. This is an old school Schwarzkopf looping coaster buried in the back of the park. This park also has a Mr. Freeze clone like Six Flags St. Louis, but in this one, you can choose whether you'd start off going forwards or backwards. There's also a large hypercoaster in Titan with crushing positive Gs. The remaining coasters are mostly clones, but they're plentiful, enjoyable, and complimentary. This park also has some great flat rides. Many are large in scale, such as the Superman Tower of Power Drop Tower and the Texas Sky Screamer Swing Ride. These ones offer phenomenal views of the park and metro area. Then this park has not one, but 2 separate dark rides. One is a modern Justice League shooting dark ride. The other is an old school dark ride with physical sets in Spelunker Cave. Then this park also has some water rides, but I've often found them closed in my visits. Besides that, this park has solid operations as a whole. Number 6. Six Flags Over Georgia. This park is one of the stronger coaster lineups in the chain. There are 2 standouts here. Goliath is one of the best B&M hypercoasters, as it offers airtime approaching the ejector territory. Twisted Cyclone is a short but rowdy RMC hybrid coaster with sharp airtime and sweet hang time. Then there are all sorts of looping coasters spanning different genres. The Batman the Ride clone in particular stands out here, as this one is even more forceful than usual. And the park has a classic wood coaster and Great American Scream Machine that recently underwent a big refurbishment. For flat rides, the offering is solid, as the park is the modern ones found at the other Six Flags parks. Then there's Acrophobia. This is a stand-up, floorless, tilting drop tower from Intamin. It is the scariest drop tower in the country in my opinion, and it's an absolute rush. Then this park has some old school water rides to cool you off. And there are 2 different dark rides as well. One is a Justice League clone. The other is Monster Mansion, which is an incredibly unique dark ride with a custom soundtrack and countless animatronics. It is shocking to see a ride this well themed at a Six Flags park. The park as a whole looks nice between the hills and greenery. Then the park is refreshing rides slowly but surely with new paint jobs. The operations here are a mixed bag though. I've had varying levels of friendliness and efficiency in all my visits. Number 5. Six Flags Great America in Illinois. This is a park that is good across the board. This park has a whopping 15 different roller coasters. There is a strong top 3. Raging Bull is a unique B&M hypercoaster with a twister layout and some great drops in the back row. Goliath is a short RMC, but the few elements it has are chock full of airtime and hang time. Max Force is an S&S compressed air launch coaster, and that launch is one of the best in the world. Then this park is a series of enjoyable looping coasters, many of which are from B&M. Then there are 2 wood coasters that are solid, and some really nice family coasters such as Whizzer. This park's flat ride lineup is not as strong as some others in the chain, but it does have a large Intamin drop tower and giant drop. Then for variety, this park has a few soaking water rides and a Justice League dark ride. This park is well maintained and has above average operations, but this place always seems to be packed, so expect lengthy lines most days of the year. Number 4. Six Flags Mexico. This park is best described as Six Flags New England's ride lineup, with Fiesta Texas's theming. This park is an incredible top 2. Superman El Ultimo Escape is a unique Morgan hypercoaster offering a mix of sustained airtime and laterals. Medusa Steel Coaster is a fast-paced RMC hybrid with plenty of negative Gs and 3 awesome inversions. The other coasters are clones, but there are some enjoyable ones like the Joker Spinning Coaster and the Wonder Woman 4D Coaster. Then this park has a robust non-coaster lineup as well. There's a Justice League dark ride, some soaking water rides, and some notable flat rides. I particularly like the tallest ones that offer stunning views. This is best exemplified with the Kilauea S&S Combo Drop Tower. Then beyond the rides, this park has very efficient operations, which is good because this park gets busy. Dispatches are quick, but you don't always get to pick your row, and you may get stapled. Then this park is a beauty. The park has a nice atmosphere, and the themed areas look great. Then several coasters have elaborately themed queue lines. Some even include funhouse elements, and they'll feel like attractions on their own. Number 3. Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey. This is a massive theme park. Its coaster lineup is particularly impressive. There are 14 different roller coasters, including the legendary El Toro. This Intamin prefab wood coaster has 4 of the best airtime moments on the planet. Then there's the world's tallest coaster in King Ka. This Intamin Strata coaster starts off with a powerful hydraulic launch. Jersey Devil Coaster is an RMC single rail coaster with an action-packed first half. Nitro is a large airtime-filled B&M hyper going into the woods. Then this park has some forceful B&M loopers and some solid family coasters, 2 of which are entirely indoors. Beyond the coasters, this park has some decent water rides, a Justice League dark ride, and plenty of flat rides. There's a giant drop tower on the side of King Ka and Zumanjaro, a large pendulum in Wonder Woman, the Cyborg Cyberspin flipping ride, and a Vekoma Madhouse in Houdini. This is the best park in the chain when it comes to operations. Dispatch speeds are mostly fast, and this park will run their rides in nearly any condition. For example, I have seen Nitro running in sub-freezing temperatures and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then beyond the rides, this park also has a safari with all sorts of animals, and you can get very close to them. Number 2. Six Flags Magic Mountain in Southern California. This is one of the best parks in the world for roller coasters. This park has 20 different coasters. X2 was the prototype 4th dimension coaster. This is a large and powerful coaster with some frightening flips. Twisted Colossus is a dueling RMC hybrid coaster with aggressive airtime and 2 wonderful inversions. Wonder Woman Flight of Courage is another RMC. This one is the tallest and fastest single rail coaster in the world, and it has some great out-of-your-seat moments. Tatsu is a B&M flying coaster with a stunning location high above a hill and an ultra-forceful pretzel loop. West Coast Racers is another dueling coaster, this time from Premier. It has countless near misses and fun elements. Full Throttle is another launch coaster from Premier featuring a massive vertical loop and a wild top half finale over it. Then this park has all sorts of looping coasters, a hyper coaster in Goliath with some strong positive Gs, a high-speed launch coaster in Superman Escape from Krypton, a wood coaster in Apocalypse that's hit or miss, a terrain-based suspended coaster in Ninja, and a few others for families. There is something for everyone here. The non-coasters could use some work though. There is the best version of the Justice League Dark Ride though, and this park has two standout flat rides in the colossal Lex Luthor Drop of Doom Drop Tower and the Crazanity Frisbee. Both are high-speed thrills, but the park severely lacks supporting flat rides, and the park's water rides are older and often closed. The biggest con with this park is the operations. Ride closures are common. This park does not post the refurbishment calendar in advance online. Expect to find at least 2 to 3 coasters closed daily. Then the park often runs just one train on coasters because they're constantly refurbishing trains due to the year-round operations. This can cause long waits on busier days, but it is possible to visit this park outside school vacation weeks with minimal crowds. Then this park got flack for years for its appearance, but I think the park looks solid now between the wooded hill in the center and how the park keeps refurbishing different areas as new rides are added. And coming in at number 1 is Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio. This park is exceptional. For one, it has a gorgeous setting as it's surrounded by a rock quarry. Then the different areas are nicely themed, and as with Six Flags Mexico, this park has some immersive queue lines. The most notable of the bunch is Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger, which has multiple animatronics. Rides can have temporary breakdowns here and there, especially on windy days due to the quarry, but the operations are otherwise strong. Staff members are friendly, and dispatch speeds are pretty good, and a few attractions have single rider lines for expedited boarding. Then the ride lineup is fantastic as well. This park is my favorite coaster in the chain with Iron Rattler. This RMC hybrid has some of the craziest drops of any coaster, as it interacts with the quarry wall. Superman Krypton Coaster is another one of my favorite B&M floorless coasters, because that ride also interacts with the quarry. The Roadrunner Express Mine Train does the exact same thing. Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster is the prototype RMC single rail coaster, and it is a rapid-fire blur of intense elements. Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger is a nice B&M dive coaster with some floaty drops. The remaining coasters are clones, but some are quite good like the Poltergeist Launch Coaster or the Goliath Inverted Coaster. This park also has some cool flat rides, particularly because the taller ones offer stunning views of the quarry. Then this park has good water rides, most notably the Bugs Bunny Whitewater Rapids Log Flume. And there's a unique shooting dark ride here to round out everything with Pirates of the Deep Sea. So that is how I would rank all 15 theme parks in the Six Flags chain. This list could fluctuate depending upon which parks get investments in recent years, but I don't see the top 3 changing anytime soon. What are your favorite parks in the chain, or thoughts on any of the Six Flags parks? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this countdown, I would appreciate if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.